Hi everyone, I am RexRed and this is Ez3DTv, and today we have a tutorial that is going to cover animation in Daz Studio version 2025 with an Nvidia 5090 graphics card. We're going to test it out and see what we can do. What kind of fidelity do we get with the Daz Studio? And that's today's video. Oh yes, I am back. Now we have to put this back on. I had to dash in and do something. So I will be back. I am back. All right. So what we have, okay, now it's saying that I have to select the stream again. Not sure why, but let's do it. Select stream. How about that one? And we have, okay. So here, without too much introduction, let's go into this. This is something, a scene. Angus, good evening. How are you, dear friend? How are you? I hope you are having a wonderful evening in the hinterlands. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, Angus is our channel's, I guess, only real benefactor to contributor to this channel. This channel would not be possible without Angus's kind support, and we want to always thank Angus. And Angus, I don't need to tell him that I'm going to be broadcasting. He's just here, and he's the oldest member of this channel, who has been here long before anybody else came in, long before the channel even existed. So, all right, what we have here, we are in Daz Studio version 2025. We have our 5090 hooked up, and what I've done is I've created a little scene here. And what kind of bothers me about this is we were supposed to have some, I guess, repairs to the Daz viewport. And as you can see, when I turn my mouse and all, it doesn't actually flow. It just moves and then catches up. Yeah, see, I don't really like that. I like it when it gradually moves, okay? I'd like to be able to turn that behavior off and have it just try to show me what it looks like as it's trying to beleaguer its way through the motion, okay? All right, so I'm kind of worried that that's what's going to happen in animation as well. Now, what I'm wondering about here, let's go into, is if I were to spine 1, okay, let's go into parameters. I think I'm going to just bend her up a little so she doesn't look like she's leaning forward, okay? And then we go back to the front and see what that looks like. Okay, I think it, you know, it's just a different pose, but, and it would take her head and we'll bend it down a little bit. Okay, like this. All right, I think that kind of works. We'll bring this up. Okay, and over a tiny bit like this. See, I used to be able to trace it when it was in iRay, and now it's just this, well, I don't like it, okay? I don't like it at all. I like being able to trace the, see what I'm dragging, the fluid motion. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try, see, I have no idea. Hi, Rich, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the video tonight. We are working with a 5090 in the Daz Studio 2025. What we're going to do is I'm gonna try to add some animation to this, some keyframes. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Now, we may not actually end up with a scene or even an animation in the end. I can't guarantee because these are live videos and I just have no idea if I'm going to reach some kind of wall where I just don't know what the heck I'm doing, all right? So now somewhere in here, I would assume there are animations. Now, would it be, oh, here we go, animations. This is kind of interesting. 9 Alive, running animation. I'm thinking of a walking animation. Now, this is for, now if we select this figure, I would assume if we go back into here, it's only going to show animate catwalk construction kit. Okay, this is Genesis 8 and 8.1. That doesn't work. Oh, we have to filter by context. Okay. And it just shows that I have very precious little animation for Genesis 9. We have a dance rhythm. This wouldn't hurt to try this. Animations by function. All right, see, we don't need all that stuff. Okay, this is an animation. I assume this is the dance animation for Genesis 9. So let's go down, let's open our timeline. Would you like to add frames? Yeah, that worked, okay. Now, let's see. This is the fun part. Is what's this gonna look like, okay, when I click play? Welcome, people. We have 4 viewers. Thank you. At least that's what it's telling me. Right now, what I'm not liking is the way this simulation is looking, but that's what our simulation is, our D-Force animation simulation is all about. So let's try clicking play. And okay, now see, that doesn't look too terribly bad for iRay, okay? Now, if we go into texture shaded, and let's click and play here. Now, I'm not sure what this is here. Oh, I think, all right, so for some reason, her stockings don't want to animate with her, okay? Now look at this. All right, so this is kind of interesting because this is pretty fluid right here, okay? This is like, this is workable. All right. Okay, and every time you stop it, the stockings. Now, another thing is when I stop it also, the smoothing comes in. Okay? And so if there's an issue with it poking through, now see, in that particular case, it did not come through. Now see, I can move this around because I'm in perspective view. Perspective view, you can't animate the perspective view, okay? So that's the thing, is that animation in the perspective view. So wherever you are in the animation, if you move the perspective view, it won't be adding keyframes in, okay? In case you didn't know that or not. All right, so I'm liking this. What I'm gonna try to do now is go into, let's turn this off. Let's go out of here. And let's go to simulation settings. Okay, and then, okay, it says frames to simulate. So let's go back to frame 1 or frame 0. And when we go to frame simulation, use timeline play range. Okay, starting pose off. Maybe we'll turn that on and let it go through a quick simulation before it goes through. Now there's 304 frames. There are a ton, okay? We're going to try the better continuous so it doesn't take forever to do this. Show subframe items, I guess that's good. Let's see how long this takes with a 5090. Okay, so what are we doing here? Well, let's do it and then I'll talk about it while it's happening, okay? So I hope I have everything set correctly. So she's going to go into her original pose so that it will so that it will do the, so it will take that A pose, which is much easier on clothing, to get it into its initialing starting place before the animation starts to take hold, okay? And so this isn't taking too long for it to get her into her first, okay, pose, okay? Now it's going to frame, okay, it's going pretty fast actually for this. Now, as it's going through, each time it jumps, okay, it does 4 iterations to the clothing. It, like, each time it jumps, the clothing, okay, now we have a problem here with her hand going through the dress. Okay, and that's not going to work. Okay, so we have to cancel this. Okay, cancel. So what we have to do, go back to 0. We have to turn her arms off, okay? Left shoulder. D4 simulation uses CPU. You see, that's what everybody's saying. It's like, not if you put that plugin, that Nvidia plugin, then it uses the GPU. And it's like, you know, and I can show you how that is working. That's why this is going pretty fast, okay? Because I only have 32 cores in my CPU. As you know, and most games and everything install that plugin, that physics plugin that allows Nvidia to do the physics simulation. So I'm not sure what it's called, but it's you can go into you can ask All right, let's go to here. What the What is the name of the plugin that allows an Nvidia graphics card to do of the CPU? All right. It looks like is a plugin for Daz. OpenCL. Okay, so, and there's a way to find out how do you find out if how do you find out if OpenCL is installed on your system? Okay, you guys can take a screenshot of this or go to File Explorer, navigate to see Windows System, look for the file name open. If it's there, it's installed, okay? There's another way to go into here, the command prompt. That's another way to do it. There's about 4. And it says if it's not installed, you can find it this way, I think. Check the GPU driver details, open DirectX, select Device Manager, expand adapter, and right-click your GPU, select Properties, and go to the driver. Click Driver and look for OpenCL in the list, okay? You may need to update your GPU drivers or install the OpenCL runtime manually. Let me know if you need help with that. And if you want to go further, go to your Copilot and ask and say, if you don't find OpenCL listed in System 32, and what that's supposed to do is, and you can test it by when you click this render, does the left shoulder, okay, we're going to go here, and we're going to turn off the left shoulder, and this here, left shoulder, and what we're going to do is we're going to hide her what happens neck arm is leotard. What happens when we do this? Okay, we can't do that. So but we can go into the leotard and hide maybe parts of it. Spine. Okay, we can't do that either. Let's go to see if we can spine 2, spine 3, left pectoral, spine 4, left shoulder, right shoulder. Okay, let's go do these 2. Okay, there we go. So we have this hidden so that her arms can't go through and mess with her dress, okay? It might be something you kind of want to happen if her hand goes down there and runs past her leg. You might actually want it to interact with the dress. And it may end up going through the dress eventually. I'm not sure what's going to happen. If it does go through the dress, then I'll alter her arm and move it out, okay? In the animation, so it doesn't interact with her dress. The hand going through the dress can cause this stretching. Now, I don't know if that happens in Daz Studio 2025, but if that stretching part has been fixed, but sometimes just something touching the dress and it will like pick up vertexes and stretch them. Okay, so what we're going to do here, now we're going to go back to our simulation, and we're going to select, let's just select her, okay, just for the heck of it. So it's selected here. And we'll close all this back up. And then we'll go to simulate. All right. And let's see what happens. Now this is our starting pose again. So now you know how to stop. Instead of trying to animate the hand initially before you do your D-force, you can do this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and Control-Alt-Delete, okay, and go to our Performance tab and see what happens, okay? Now you see the CPU is only working about 14%. Okay, now this is during a simulation, okay? And it is using the system memory, 34% of it. We've got this Daz open. A lot of stuff goes into the system memory until it goes into the video RAM, okay? But when we go here to our GPU 1, I have 2 GPUs, okay? One of them's built in, okay? And as you can see, this is utilizing 39%. This is being done with my graphics card. It's not being done with, it's only utilizing 11% of the PC, of the CPU. Okay, so just for your information, yeah, you see, this is being done with the GPU, okay? So that's good, never enough guitars. I have about 12 guitars, at least 12, yeah. So, yeah, so I know what you mean by that. And I would say 12 stringed instruments, because I have like a lap steel, and I have a mandolin, I have a banjo, I have 2 violins, I have 2 nylon guitars, I have about 5 electric guitars, 6 electric guitars, and I have 2 hollow body acoustic guitars. Oh, you have 16. Oh! And yeah, I have a lap steel, and I know there's some more in there. Okay, so I have a ukulele. Yeah. So, yeah. All right, so this, yeah, I'm a guitar nut. And, oh yes, you could say I'm kind of married to my guitar. I used to take my guitar to bed at night with me, and I'd fall asleep like, and wake up, it was like, where's my guitar? Yeah, because I would just fall asleep playing my guitar. Yeah. So, all right, so now in the settings, okay, here, if we go here to this settings, okay, so each one of these, every time it jumps here, that's a subframe. 13 electric guitars. Wow. Well, all of my stringed instruments are electric. So, because I buy them with built-in pickups, so I don't have to mess with hooking up pickups. Now, you see, each time it jumps, okay? Each time it jumps. Now, this is kind of weird. This is a little higher. It says it's doing 32 iterations per subframe. And like an iteration is when it stops on that subframe, it does all these D-force, it does 32 D-force iterations to kind of let the cloth hang the way it wants for that subframe. And then it goes to the next subframe and it does 32 more deforce iterations. Okay? So if your system is really, really slow, okay, frames per second, okay. So if your system is really, really slow, you could lower that down to 5 or 6, okay, iterations per subframe, okay? And like 32 for my 5090, 32 iterations, as you can see, take about 1 second, 2 seconds, and it jumps to the next subframe. So that's what's happening here, is that each time it stops on a subframe, and I call them, yeah, those are frames, and each time it stops on one, it does 32 iterations, and you can set that right here, okay? Now, and this collision mode, I believe what this collision mode is like, and I'm just kind of going to make this up as I go along, but I believe what it is, it's like a kind of sub-D, where it gives the fabric more geometry so that that the collision with the body is more precise, and it doesn't have as jagged of geometry like triangles in it. It makes the triangles kind of smaller, and so that when it contacts with the body, now a lot of times this basic better, but there's best also, is enough, okay, for it to be okay. All right, so now notice her hair is also deforce. So this 5090, I am very, very, very pleased with this, because we're doing 300 frames, which means this simulation, it doesn't say how many seconds it is long, because I think it's really relative to how much. Do you know how to make the fabric thicker so the deforce is more realistic? Sometimes my clothing acts like it's silk when it should be thick cotton and doesn't look right. That is a question for Copilot, okay? So you see, Copilot goes to the Daz forums and it looks over all the Daz forums in a second. It reads everything in the whole Daz forum, okay, in a second, like the entire forum in a few seconds. And it finds your answer, okay? It's not that I don't know the answer. I believe that there are settings in your, what you have to do is, it's not just this simulation setting, but then if you select it, like, and go and think into parameters, yeah, if you go into parameters for the clothing, there's a whole section in your parameters settings for setting the I don't know what it's, stiffness or something like that, and making it seem like it's, instead of being silk, that it is like I don't know, burlap or canvas or something thicker, okay? It's not going to make the fabric itself thicker. It's just going to change how heavy the fabric seems to be, okay? Making fabric thicker is because you figure fabric is a plane, okay? Ultimately, it's just a plane. And if you want thicker fabric, because Daz doesn't, planes don't have thickness. Planes only have X and Y. They don't have Z, okay? They don't have thickness, okay? And so if you want fabric to have thickness, you either need to put a surface, like a surface that has thickness, like a surface like snow. You know, a snow shader can have thickness, and I don't know how that works. But I assume it's because the snow is not an actual plane that's being laid over as a surface. The surface is actually a 3D polygon. All right, like a cube. And that's the way that if you want fabric to have thickness, you have to make the fabric into a cube, okay? A thin cube. And you make the cube as thick as you want. And then you have the issue of the fabric, like as you've often seen fabric coming through fabric because they're overlaid and they're not really, the collision isn't working very well. So my advice is Copilot is, because if you go into the Daz forums and you just search and say, how to make D-Force more realistic, what's going to come up in the Daz forums? It's going to be every time the word how is used, every time the word is used, every time the word or D-Force is used, every time the word more is used, and every time the word realistic, it doesn't read your sentence and find, it doesn't have an intelligent search, okay? In the Daz forums, the only way to fix that is to go to Google and search in Google, and you search in Google. Well, that's one way, is to go to Google and search in Google for how to make D-Force look more realistic, and you'll go in and Google will search the Daz forums and in an intelligent way, okay? And it will find your answer. But Copilot, you can just talk to Copilot, okay? And you can just lay out your question and say, do you know how to make fabric thicker so that D-Force is more realistic? Sometimes my clothing acts like it's silk when it should be thick cotton and doesn't look right. Copilot will read that whole answer and search for in the Daz forum and give you a whole set of bullet points on how you can do that by going into the parameters and changing this setting or that setting. And then Copilot will ask, was that enough information? Can I help you with anything more? Would you like to go into depth in any particular aspect of my answer, you know? And you say, yeah, I'd like you to talk more about this setting, this friction setting, or this, you know what I'm saying? And so then you go in and Copilot will explain how friction works. See, so that's how you do it. That's how you learn everything you want to learn about Daz Studio. So you don't have to sit and watch me talk about stuff for hours on end, because I am totally boring. Just kidding. I don't know. I must be. So, all right. So let's see now. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's click play and see what this looks like. Okay, now that looks a lot better. Okay, except that she doesn't have any arms. All right, but it looks like during the animation. Okay, so we go back to the beginning again. Okay. Okay, here's the rewind. Now let's turn back her arms. Now what if I just come here, turn everything off, and turn it all back on again? And look how that worked. See, it just went through and turned off everything. When I turned it back on, the arms came back. Okay, so See, this looks like it works. See, now it doesn't look like her arms are actually contacting the dress. So, all right. So we got something pretty cool here. All right, so we save this. This is maybe one of my best animations so far. Has been a godsend for me with RenP and Python stuff. You know, I use Copilot because it's right here. You know, I could just click on it and it's right there, okay? But try the different ones and find out which one gives you the best answer, okay? So Copilot gives me the answers for now. I'm also partial to Gemini, who used to be called Bard. That's Google's AI. So I like both Copilot and ChatGPT. I've just never really gotten into it because I have to go to some website and I have to find it and sign up and do all. It's just kind of like too much of a headache for me. For me personally, when Copilot, I can just click on it and here it is, and it gives me a history of all of my questions. So now it's taking a good while to save this. It is saving it onto a disk drive, I don't have all of my Daz projects on a solid state drive. I do have my, the thing is why have two of them when Copilot is doing it for me? And the thing is that I've trusted Windows with my security for many, many years. You know, I trust Windows. Windows is, you know, maybe they have a big dossier on me, but at least I don't find my passwords out in the wild, and you know what I'm saying? So why spoil a good thing? And Bill Gates, if you're watching and you're giving away a bunch of money, please, please, I could use some. I've been a very loyal user of your products. So, all right, so it's taking a good while to save this initially, okay? So let's render. Let's render settings. Okay, the first thing we want to do in render settings is image series, okay? And start frame, the ending frame with 304, series base. We're going to call this girl dancing. All right, so that it has like something in the name, okay? The render library, we're going to send this path instead to a folder, series path, and I'm going to say, let's send this to somewhere in here. I have something for animations. I think I keep my animations actually here in my PNG files. Yeah, animation series, okay. We're going to create a new folder. Okay. We go here. We have to have a place for all these renders to go. Okay, now what I'm going to do at the last moment here is I'm going to create a camera just for the heck of it. Copy active view, all right? Now I'm just going to take and play this and make sure she doesn't go out of the scene. Her fingers don't go up too high. See, it sort of does. So I could kind of... All right, so what we're going to do is stop this. Go back to the beginning. Let's take our camera, look through our camera. Okay, now I'm going to delete the camera because if I move the camera, I'm going to end up with keyframes. Okay, So I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to take my perspective view and just back up a little bit. And let's kind of go like this. All right. Now, what we're going to do, now I'm going to tell you a few tricks. Okay, I have right now the environment. I have a background. You go into the environment, and I have a backdrop, and the color of the backdrop is white. Okay, now when we go into the render settings, into iRay, you're going to see there is something here. It is a shadow. Okay, all right. Well, if you turn off the backdrop and go none, okay, then you're going to have this transparency. But what you're going to end up with is this long shadow, okay? How do you get rid of the long shadow, okay? Well, the way you get rid of the long shadow is you go into your scene, go to Environment Options, go to Parameters, and scroll down, turn off the ground. Okay, then you can have a girl like dancing around without this distractive shadow. You can turn it into a GIF. You can have it used, and she could be, like something that would pop up in the middle, like of my stream right here. She could just be dancing around and clapping her hands and everything. And it's like, yay, everybody kind of thing. So that's how you get rid of the shadow. I'm going to leave the shadow on. In this particular case, I usually leave it off because I am going to use a backdrop, okay? And I'm going to make this into like a video, okay? Instead of just a cutout, a transparency with just a girl dancing, that with a transparent background, it's going to be an actual video for now, in this particular case, because I'm kind of want to see how it renders. Now, this is our environment map. This gives us our lighting situation. The lighting's okay. It's casting a shadow to the side, which means the lighting is coming from there. It's all good. So we go back to our render settings. Now we set our base, we set our image. We're going to do it 1920 by 1080. That's a fairly good size, okay? No scene lights. Okay, actually I do have a scene light. What if I we're in frame 0, if I just create a spotlight, it will turn off my camera light, okay? Now, let's kind of jump ahead a little bit and see, does this look better without the scene camera light? I think it kind of does, but I think my scene light isn't quite as bright as I'd like it to be. So let's go back here, go back to our scene, environment options. You can see how bright it is here. So it gives us, you see, if I turn off the spotlight, then it's washed out. Well, it's not that washed out. What happened here? Delete the spotlight. Okay, see how washed out it is? Okay, there's no drama to it, Z. But when I bring the spotlight back in to the scene, even if it's turned off, okay, and I'm going to pull the spotlight down below okay, I'm hoping she's standing on the ground enough, okay? So it's down below the ground, okay? But what I'd like to do is just take the environment light and bring it up a little bit. So we go here to 3, maybe, and take the environment intensity and go to 2. That's too much. Let's go to 1.5. And we'll take this down to 2.5. All right. And 2, let's just try 2 here and see what happens. Okay, I think that's enough. All right, so we have a little bit of drama here rather than just washed out look, okay? Save this, and that's going to make, notice it didn't take as long to save. It's not taking, I don't think it will take as long to save it this time as it did before. because I think it only has to save what's new. So, but it is still taking a while here in this particular save. So, all right, we're going to see how quickly can my 5090 take and make 300 iterations. And what I have to do now is set up my render settings for rendering animation, okay? Oh, come on, come on, come on. Come on. All right. All right, so yeah, well, see, I started out. You say, never enough guitars. You said I just started using Chat GPT, and I like it. I can identify with that. So if you like Chat GPT, stay with it until you find maybe you like something else better, or maybe that will just stick with you forever. The thing I find is with me is I've jumped. My first experience with a chat engine, an AI, chat AI, was Bard. And I really liked Bard a lot. I still do. But this integration, how all of my chats are remembered and all of this stuff, and it's just integrated into Windows. It's integrated into Teams, the same chat. It's the same chat engine that's integrated in through all of my apps and programs and stuff. So a lot of them. Okay, so all right. So now, so it's just that's the one that I particularly like. So I can understand your sentiment towards that. Now we're going to go to rendering here. All right, maximum samples. You see, this is huge right now. I've dragged that. Okay, so I want that off, but maximum samples. Okay, I want that down to maximum time. We'll take and leave the time up. It doesn't matter of the time. I don't think the time matters. But the maximum samples, I'm going to go at 2,000. Okay? That means that for each frame it renders, it's going to do 2,000 iterations. And I find that 2,000 is really kind of the minimum of getting each frame sharp. Okay? We'll see. It may be, okay, why did I do this? Okay, it may not take so long because I really didn't change anything this time. But I have got to get, what I need to do is when I'm working on a particular project, I have to save that project on my solid state drive and work on it through there. And then once I'm done with the project and I want to go on to another project, then I just move that to my hard drive, to my disk drive. Okay, that's a nice process. Okay, so all right, so here we are with this again. So I think what happens here is it doesn't matter the time. Okay, because once it hits 2,000 samples, it doesn't matter what time is set unless you have the time set below the amount of time it takes for, in like 4,000 seconds, 41,000 seconds is not going to happen before it reaches 2,000 samples, okay? And 2,000 samples is 2,000 iterations in your render, okay? So these maximum samples, that means maximum, how many iterations do you want per frame, okay? And I think my computer can, like this 5090, can do 2,000 iterations like in a blink, almost a blink, okay? And like I said, for a really good animation, you want like to have 2000. 2000 is like kind of the minimum per frame to make it look good. Unless it's a very small animation. If it's smaller than this is 1080p, okay? So now this is taking an enormously long amount of time. So Daz, if there's a way to like have it save only what you have edited and speed up this saving of, and it's kind of the same with this Daz 2025 projects. They kind of take a while to save because we're talking about what in some cases 32 gigs. I don't know that there's any way to speed that up, okay? So, all right. So what we're going to do is, okay, we have the render quality off, progressive canvas, none of this other stuff we're going to worry about. All right, we're going to try this. Now let's see how quickly we can render this. Now, this may be the end of our video because, okay, now it's 700, okay? And, all right, 1004, okay, so, all right, it's about 21 seconds per frame. So 21 seconds times, Alexa, what's 21 seconds times 304?
21 seconds times 304 is approximately 1 hour and 46 minutes.
So this is going to take an hour and 46 minutes to render, okay? So 50 seconds. Now it may take actually less than that because it had to do, so we're on frame 2, rendering frame 2. Okay, so this is going to take a while. So an hour, though, for what looks, I would say that this animation is about 4 seconds. Okay, 30 frames per second. It says current is 4. So I would assume this is 4 seconds. So an hour to render 4 seconds. That's not too bad. And it says an hour, and I think he said something. Okay. Alexa, what's 21 seconds times 304?
21 seconds times 304 is approximately 1 hour and 46 minutes.
Oh, so it's 2 hours. Yeah, so this is going to take 2 hours to render. Okay. So now the idea, if I was going to change anything, okay, because I believe this is at 1080p, I would make it like 640 by 480, but I would still leave the iterations at 2000. Because like I said, 2000 iterations is pretty much what I consider, so that when they move, they don't look like they're all like made of little teeny like dots, okay? That it doesn't look, or blurry, okay? So they look like completely sharp, okay? So at least to my eyes, these particular parameters are things that I've made by just my own experimentation with rendering animation. Is that it's not like I read it somewhere. I just like tried 1500 and thought it was a little bit blurry and kind of speckly. And when I went to 2000, it looked good. Okay, so that's what you want to do with your animation, is go to 2000 samples. And unfortunately, like my 4090 was not nearly as fast as this. So this is going pretty darn fast. Now, if I were to take out the background and leave it transparent, and take out the shadow, because it has to render the entire image rather than just the transparency, I bet it would render much faster, okay? Because it only then has to render the figure with a transparent background, okay? Now what happens, and okay, now yeah, it saves them as ping files. I don't know if I set this right, because okay, I may have to stop this, cancel this, okay? We can take a look at this. I just thought of something, okay? Oh yeah, it is ping files, okay? Now I don't know that there is a way to resume the render. So I just have to go back into here and go to here and here and go to renders PNG animation series, and this was to be dancing girl. See dancing girl, it'd be with G, girl dancer. Okay, so this gives us a little bit of an idea of what this is going to look like. Now, see, that's all we had of it. Now it does look like she's standing right on the ground. So we got that good. Let's do a test here now. Instead, I'm going to turn off the backdrop, none, because that's why I checked to see if it was saving as PNG, because PNG can make transparencies. Now, another thing to speed things up is take it out of iRay mode, okay? So that each time it renders, it doesn't have to show you an iRay representation of that frame. And another thing, okay, so we're going to now go back into the scene, and we're going to go to environment options, okay, to parameters, and we're going to go to dome and scene. We're going to leave that on, but what we're going to do is turn off the ground, okay, so we don't have that shadow. Sometimes you want it, but in this particular case, draw ground is off, okay, and I'm going to save this again. It'll take a moment. Now let's see how quickly this renders as a transparency, okay, with no background, just her dancing, and no shadow that it has, this big long shadow that it has to calculate and draw. And we'll see how long it takes to render a frame of this. I think it was 21 minutes, 21 seconds per frame. And I think the first frame might be a little bit longer because it has to initialize the render. It has to throw it all into the RAM and then render the first frame. So I think it may actually have finished rendering by the time. So what's nice is that these animations now in the Daz store, I have a feeling I'm going to be playing around with animation in Daz 2025 more, because of the massive throughput of power that the 5090 has with the PCI Express 5. It's just like so quick to my CPU. It's like the work between the CPU and the graphics card is really amazing. At this point, it would probably be better to have an even more powerful CPU with, like, you know, one of those Xeon processors. Oh yeah, that'd be nice if I had like a $6,000 Xeon processor, but I don't. So it's at this point, it is an i9 processor, and a $6,000 processor would mean having to buy another motherboard. And the motherboard at this point, if I were to buy another motherboard, I would certainly make sure that the PCI Express lanes both went, at least two of them went to, so I could put 25090s in here. Okay, so, and there is the option of an AMD processor, and I'm not like adverse right now to possibly going out and getting an AMD processor like a Threadripper. Okay, so this is saved. Now we go back to our render settings. All of this is 1920 by 1080 image series. Let's go take a look. Okay, we don't have a camera. Let's create a new camera. We'll do it from the perspective view. We're at frame 1. Let's look at it through the camera. Okay, Control L. Okay, that didn't work. No light. Okay, so, all right. What we're going to do now is hit render and see what happens here. Now, how quick can it do the first frame? There's iteration 1. 899. It's about the same. 18 seconds. Okay, 19 seconds. So it took a few seconds less. And okay, this 125. So 18. Okay, so it's about 19 seconds per okay, 2 frames. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm seeing about 10 seconds. Okay, so yeah, let's see. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm seeing about 10 seconds for 2,000 iterations, okay? So this isn't going to take... Alexa, what's 10 seconds times 304?
10 seconds times 304 is 50 minutes and 40 seconds.
50 minutes and 40 seconds. So an hour to render this. That is not bad, okay? Now this is, and what do we have in this simulation? We have her hair flinging around, and she doesn't have any expressions that I know of. That I don't think that there's going to be any expressions unless this Genesis 9 dance came with some expressions. She doesn't have, but she does have her hair moving to gravity, flinging around, okay? And that is pretty cool. And she has her dress flinging around with D-force as well. And so this is pretty amazing. Lens data, lights, instance topography, volumes, textures. You see all of the things here in that list, they're things that have to be. You know, I was thinking, why does it have to update all that? You know, I'm not even moving the lights. I'm not really, there's the lens data, you know, it's just all of that. A lot of this stuff, it's the same, but I believe it has to update those things. So this is going quite a bit faster. We're at 10 frames. So 10 frames, 3 minutes for 10 frames. So this is how it goes. Now we come here. Oh shoot, I don't think I deleted them. Okay, but this is working. Okay, so we come here, and this is our, okay. All right, what it did, I think it overwrote the white ones. So that was good, that it didn't, because you're supposed to delete them really. But this is now 12 frames. So we open this. This doesn't play very well. Now you see she doesn't have any expressions. It's kind of like dead. So, but it's not bad for our first 5090 animation. So, the thing is, just go in and dial in some morphs along the way, kind of happy and smile and ah, ee, ooh, ah, ee, oh. Kind of animations. So yeah, that's going to be it. And this is the boring part, is to just go through this for an hour to make a new animation. But this is not bad. This is actually how quickly it went through 300 frames of D-Force. That was pretty amazing, and all I had to do was turn off her arms, and her hair and her dress did the D-Force. Now throwing some expressions into her face and all would have been kind of interesting. You just stop at each place and go into the head thing and dial in some expressions, happy, you know, mouth open, things like that, smile, and you know, and some look. You know, you can have her look from side to side. Breathing, you can add breathing stuff. Blinking, blinks, blink, 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 blink. You can add some blinks. So those are things that you can add. And I believe I have animation things that add those in every so often. It adds a blink in. And so you just double click and it adds them in. And breathing is the same thing. You double click and then they are breathing a little bit. So their stomach doesn't just stay completely static. Okay, so it seems like they're actually breathing. Yeah, so breathing and blinking are would be the first thing I would add in. And then I would think about some expressions, and very subtle expressions. Okay, so yeah. So this is so we're let's see, 7 minutes, and it looks like we're about a 15th of the way through. Alexa, what's 7 minutes times 15?
7 minutes times 15 is 1 hour and 45 minutes.
All right, so it's less than a 15th. 25. So, Alexa, what percent is 25 of 304?
25 is 8.224% of 304.
Okay, so that's about 8%. What, Alexa, what's 8 minutes times, Alexa, stop. Alexa, what's 8 minutes? Okay, that's, Alexa, stop. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm asking here. 8 minutes. Okay. Alexa, what's 8 minutes times 8?
8 minutes times 8 is 1 hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah, so this is an hour. It's going to take about an hour. So let's go back here real quick. We can kind of go through this a little bit. Once the more that are here, we can, this isn't going to show the actual, okay, we got a problem right there. See now that right here, her hand goes right through the fabric. See, so what I'd have to do is at that point, just move her arm out. So, you know, this is what animation is about. It's about messing with things like this. I'm gonna let this render anyway. But that part right there. Now what I could do is, see, this is really well done though. What I could do is turn the camera so that you don't see that part, so that it's on the other side. But see, this deadpan look is just not good for an animation. It does look like she's just kind of nonchalantly dancing, but it doesn't really. And once you have the whole animation done, you're going to notice that she's like this, that she's not breathing. Now, there were also other things about breast movement where you can add a little bit so that they move a little as she's dancing. There was that, what hasn't been added also. So, you know, as this 5090 evolves, we're probably going to get some more sophisticated animations so that what we can do is double click and add the animation, and it's going to add the breast movement, it's going to add the breathing, it's going to add the expressions, it's going to add the blinks, it's going, and then the clothing, because I chose the clothing. The clothing you're going to have to deal with yourself. So, but this is kind of doable here. Now, there is a new technology that's coming out. AI is coming to the rescue with animation, and it's going to come in, and there should be a way to just go into Daz and say, or the AI would look at this animation and say, well, you don't want her hand going through the fabric. So the AI is going to just automatically look at that before it renders it and fix it. Wouldn't that be nice? And just say, okay, either this has got it, the arm has got to come out, okay? It's just got to come out at this point. So, and I'm not going to edit that right now. I'm just going to, okay, this is going to pretty much do it for me. We're going to let this render, and I'm going to go watch. Today's my day off, and I'm going to go watch some TV, relax, lay down, just enjoy the evening. So thank you for watching, people. You have a good night, and I will see you again in the next Ez3DTv tutorial. We're going to play the splash screen, and then I will be back to close out this video. All right, thanks for watching again. Okay, I'm back. All right, so we have had Angus here, and tonight Rich Kapoor. We've had Never Enough Guitars, who I totally agree with that idea. And we've had Software Tools tonight here as well. We've missed Art. It's just too late for Art. Art told me that there are sales in the Daz store right now for ultra scenery products. They are like $1 for each plugin, and you get to buy like 5. If you buy, you get to buy 5 of them in a day's, and I think in a 24-hour period. So I bought them. I replied to Art and told him that I bought my Daz. I bought my ultra scenery products when they came out, and they were like 33% off, and then I would apply my tokens and whatever kind of sales that I could apply to them, because I wanted them. I am such a fan of ultra scenery that I wanted them. I didn't want to wait until this particular sale has come, which is an amazing sale. So yes, so check out the that, and I think it's in the Daz store. According to Art, you can pick up the what's going on with ultra scenery. It seems as though there's something big on, either some kind of announcement. Either it's being deprecated, which it may have already been deprecated, but I think that the announcement that's on the horizon is that Daz may actually buy ultra scenery and develop it themselves. That is what I would like to see, which means that we will have ultra scenery, really maybe like a lot of different plugins just coming out left and right for ultra scenery. I wish that there were like coming out every day a new plugin for ultra scenery. So, because I would buy them. I would buy anything. I will buy anything, any biomes, any apps, any plugins, anything that expands the use of ultra scenery. So, all right, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next Ez3DTv tutorial. I am RexRed saying good night. Thank you, people, for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.